Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Monday, August 29. Starting with the NASDAQ here, all the markets certainly went down the Jackson Hole, so to speak. However, we're still looking for the A wave, the B wave and the C wave down into the 61.8%, around the 12,000 here for the NASDAQ. And we'll have a look at that in detail when we look at Apple. With the S&P, the same thing as well. We'll look for the A wave, the B wave, and 5 waves down here for wave C, and we'll have a look at all that detail in here when we do the indices video. Now, I also just wanted to mention as well as that, I don't know if you remember, when we were coming up through here and the markets were looking really bullish, then we ourselves turn bullish and the media turns bullish, and there's sort of a frenzy. But as I mentioned, it was not to get lost in that, because we were looking for a turn. There was a possible bullish count which comes in with a wave 4 coming in here at the 38.2% retracement level, but we're past that now, so we can remove that bullish wave 4. We also had a bearish count where we could look at this here as an A wave here and a B wave here and a C wave over here, larger one for the big B wave over here. Now that is possible, and we've also been tracking that, and we'll have a look at that. But the reason I don't think it is that is because you can see the size of this here compared to the size of this. So I don't think it's really balanced enough yet to come down, but we also need to be aware of this being able to come down further through, continue down here. And we've looked at this on, I think it was 50K, looking at it like this here, so having it all completed here and then just coming straight down from that point. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. We're going to be, hopefully you're short already in this market, and we'll be looking at some of the details in here, but we'll look at the stocks first, because the stocks create the indices. So we're in a nutshell, as I mentioned, coming up here is not to turn bullish, because we were looking at it as an ABC pattern. Well, that would be the same coming down here. Don't get lost in anything. Don't get lost in this big move to the downside, because we may end up turning, down at the 61.8% or thereabouts, in all of that, and then head up there, and suddenly you've got it wrong again. So there's 2 counts, and we just need to work through them, and we'll give them equal balance, and we'll just work through them. Now, obviously, when they have these meetings at any big meetings really, it can spike the market, and it has spiked the market, but the comments from that situation are now already priced in as well. What you see is not what you get next, so just be careful about that. Alrighty, we're going to start with Apple. So Apple is one of these markets that moved up really high. Other markets moved up quite low, and somewhere in the middle, so that we've got a whole range of situations happening in this particular trend. There are markets like this where we can count it in 5 waves. I'm sure you could count it correctively as well. There's stocks like Berkshire Hathaway that have got 5 waves up, and Nvidia's got 5 waves up. So if they have 5 waves up, that means that they'll have a correction and then another 5, if that is correct. So that just gives another reason to have this other leg up here. So we just need to be careful. So we've been looking for a turn from the B wave. In some cases it reached its 50%, in some cases a bit more, some cases it was a bit short in stocks, and but we certainly got that turn on that situation. You can also see the stochastics have come down a fair way at this point, so we could expect shortly a bit of a rally once this move down here finishes. So from wave B down to wave C here, we're looking we're looking for 5 waves. So let's just go in and have a look at that. We'll go to 1000 ticks. So in a bit of a nutshell, we're looking for down for wave 1 here. I'm looking at all of this as wave 1 and wave B here, and yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere down into the 150, 140, or the 161.8% is lower down at the 146. So, but obviously the 150's got, I mean, probably the wave 3 will sit on top of that, but we'll just see how it plays out, and we'll see if wave 3 is going to be longer than wave 1, because wave 1 is quite long in this situation. So but let's investigate this little trend here now, and that we can do that on the 100 ticks. So on the 100 ticks, looking from that wave B high, coming down as 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and then this move down through here. So we're looking for, it's not finished yet, this move. Maybe 162, 161, maybe even the 160 if it goes that far. But if you're looking to move into this market, well, we have to wait for this ABC rally to come in at this point. If you're in already, you might want to sort of look at having a bit of a trailing stop on part of the position or something of that nature. I mean, there's still further to go down. So, you know, you're in the trend, you would like to stay in that, but you'll need to ride this wave 2 out. So I'm going to go from 100 ticks down into 10 ticks here, just to have even a closer look at this particular move coming down, just so in case you've got it counted and you're looking at how it was counted. So I've got it as well, you'll just, you know, you can stop it and pause it and capture it in any which way you want, but I've got 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth, fifth here, and all the markets are pretty much the same, fourth and fifth, and 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 here, and 3 here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave for 3 and 4, and then moving down lower here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, 4 for the third and the fourth. So this one here is not finished. So this would be in the middle of the third wave here somewhere, wouldn't it? You know, so we could see it obviously drop further. So it's still got further to come down. There'll be 1s and 2s and 3s, so 4. So yeah, maybe the between 162 and 160, this should finish off, and this will be like most stocks. So we can take that count and pretty much apply it to the rest of the markets at this point. Now, Nvidia here is another one that is it's got a different low through here, so we've got a different sort of space here. I was actually thinking about, well, I've got it as an alternative count, putting it here as an A wave, a B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. I mean, it's got a pretty clear 5-wave structure to the upside here. So yeah, but anyway, we should see a bounce and support off the 150 area. Might go down to 148. But yeah, we'll just see how that sort of plays out a little bit. So I've got two, I'm just sort of tracking 2 counts here, but it's kind of important to, at this point, to drag it in with the rest of the market. So but yeah, so if you're trading this, I suggest get to the 150 and then get out. If we get a classic trading levels pattern, we can look at further downside if you think that's going to be the case, but we'll need that set up at that point. But let's just move into the 100 ticks area here. So yeah, I've got this as an alternative larger wave A coming down through here, and that means that this would change a bit. It would mean that this B goes up to here, and we look at this as 1 and 2 here, and a third wave coming down, but still a bit short. For the 5th wave would have to be short, unless we look at it as a WXY and an ABC. But I don't want to go there just yet on this. So I think just tracking it down as 5 waves, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming down into, you know, 148, 145, the 150 being a main support sort of area, is what we can look at this point. So the job is to survive wave 2 with all of these markets. Now, wave 2 tends to come back 50-60%, but it can come back at a lower sort of ratio. I think that you know, you'll need to give some consideration how you're going to handle that. This will probably come in at a bounce off the 160 area. So yeah, you might want to think about that a little bit more deeply, how you want to handle this and get down to here, you know. One of the other things too that, you know, when we're looking at the indices, you know, could we look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming down, you know? In a lot of cases it comes back up, you know, as a wave 4 in the indices and other markets, you know, quite close to the 40%, but in a lot of cases it's, you know, 50% and 61.8% and those sorts of things. So, yeah, but anyway, I'm giving that some sort of consideration. Rightio, Amazon. So with Amazon here, the move down, we're looking, as you know, we're looking at that as wave 1, and we'll look for wave 2, and then we'll see wave 3, 4, and 5, just like the other markets into that space. That's the way that we're looking at that, and we can look at that in a bit more detail on 100 ticks. So it looks dramatic on on this situation, but yeah, so 1, 2, not quite, this is I've got this slightly little bit different here, but it should sink into, you know, maybe even to 128 before it sort of raises its head. But I think this is if you wanted to survive, you know, when you get big numbers like this, then, you know, if this was coming down to the top of 33 here, then we'd get a strong bounce off that if we were looking for that wave 1 on that low there. But when we've got the 130, which is quite big, and we're already, and we got group 1 here, it's likely that this wave 2 here probably wouldn't go up any more than just above the 33. It might even be somewhere between 32 and 33. So it's not a big ask to hold this through here to get down into wave 3. You might want to take some off and then dump it back up on here on the short, because we have 5 waves in the opposite direction of the trend. But yeah, so some markets will be, you know, if this was coming down to 150, so to speak, well then that's a much stronger number, and there would be a stronger bounce off that. But in this case, I think this group 1 would hold this market quite well. I don't think it would bounce back too much, and the more that a number, you know, that if a market comes down to the number here and just hits it nicely and bounces off it, then the bounce can be quite strong. If it comes in and sort of has a small bounce and sinks into it somewhere, and then tries to, you know, get up there like this, then they don't tend to go too far at that point once they're sort of sunk into a number. It just means there's not a lot of volume in there, you know. It will come in, but it's not sitting there waiting, so to speak. That's Amazon. And Meta Platforms is a little bit different. We talked about this before, about it making a new low while the others are doing their B waves, and when they go up for their C waves, these other markets, so like where's the NASDAQ for a moment, just so you can tune into that. So when this C wave is going up here, that will be that will be wave 4 in that case, and then as this comes down here, then this will come down here for this. So in a way, you know, we are, you know, folks are talking about the recession and so on and so on, but this is, you know, I mean, it's already started over, this is where, that's the day that it started. you know, call it what you want, and we're only really halfway through it at the moment. Now, it is possible for this to come straight down and we'll be in a recession, or we'll come up here and breathe a bit more hope into everything, and that will confuse everybody, and then once they're all confused and trapped, then the market will come down. You know, all the typical stuff that it does, but definitely got lower prices to come. You know, that's the takeaway. So you know, property prices will do this. You know, the housing indexes are, you know, in the same picture as this as well. So it's kind of really it's if you don't do anything sort of silly up here, then it'll be good buying opportunities down here for you know, for real estate and other things. So yeah, anyway, that's that there. So this will come down. I've been tracking this down in two ways, but let's just go straight to the 100 ticks, and we want to pick it up from that wave 4. So that wave 4 is up here, and we've been counting down. And the rest of the markets, we've got them as an A wave and a B wave in orange. So I understand that, but I might have to look at this. I mean, to still take that, we'll need to take the low out down here. I need to get, I need to make a low here. So I could do it with the same markets as the same pattern as we're working with the other markets. So wave 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. Will that take me down and make me a new low over here? And what about if it doesn't? If it doesn't make a new low, then it'll have to be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave at this point, and then we go up from there. So the count could be either of these. So I don't know the count, but I know where the market's going. So we'll be looking at the move down through here somewhere, maybe the 160, a retest here, and then down to the 155 for the third wave, and probably the 150, and you know, hopefully it can make a new low from over here, and we can call it in from wave 4 to wave 5 down here for this. I was also thinking about looking at it as all of wave 1 here and 2 here for this, and we'll see how this goes as a third wave. But it's going to sort of put it out of sync with the other markets. So yeah, that's why I've got two things going on here. But look, in the short term, the 150 is your is the prize. Netflix. So as you know, with Netflix, we were looking for the A wave, the B wave. Didn't really go up a long way as the B wave, didn't quite get to the 50%, but yeah, we'll see this come down to the 200 area. Let's go in and have a little look at this on 100 ticks. So we were looking at I mean, a lot of the markets got a bit sort of volatile up in all of this here, but yeah, so anyway, we're looking at this as, well, all the way down to 1 again. That can come down further. I don't know what's going to happen when it opens. You know, will they gap down? Will they gap up? Will they just be volatile here? All of this, I think they'll all do different things. They've got different things happening, you know, in the market, in the market depth. But in one way or another, we're still looking for this move down through here for this, you know. And this is what can happen to indicators as well. You know, a lot of the indicators are pointing, you know, especially on the dailies, are pointing, you know, they're quite low like this, but they can just flatline as well. So you've got to kind of be a bit careful about those things. Yeah, so that's Netflix and Tesla. So I've redone this chart after the stock split. I haven't put the levels in yet, but we're up, you know, we've got the 300 as the resistance. So keeping a stop above the 300 would be pretty safe at this point. And it possibly can come down to the 50-60% area here as well. So This will also be a bit of a wave one coming down here, so we've still got, we've still got further to go down, so still makes quite a nice short. The only other count I've got for this really is by putting this larger B wave over here, but once again, this, when you look at it, this here is a little bit small, isn't it, compared to all of this. That's my beef with the situation, but anyway, I think it's good, healthy to talk about both sides of the market, because the time we get to here, everybody's going to be screaming, the end of the world sort of stuff, but we'll be mindful that that's where it can turn. So let's just go to, this is 50k ticks, we're going to go to 100 ticks. And yeah, so I did change something here as well. I had this wave B over here, but I'm thinking that it might be better with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for the B wave here, and that way it puts it in line with the other markets, and we can look at this move coming down here as wave one, which I don't think has landed just yet either. So look, I don't know what happened. It might make a fool of me, and it could be sort of like, gap to here or something like that, and then have a bit of a rally, or I really don't. You just don't know at this point. There'll be a lot of decisions and confusion over the weekend about what's going on with the market. So, but all I can do is tell you that it appears that most of these trends here need to come down further. Will they extend in some part of the structure or not? I'm not sure, but we're still coming down further. So, it's no time for long trades, it's short trades. It's just the question, as long as you don't overtrade and leverage yourself out of the trend, which we've all done. I mean, every mistake that you can possibly think of is I've done it, and probably a few times. I'm a bit of a slow learner. Easier said than done, all of these things, but anyway, that's where Tesla is. So yeah, still further to the downside. And Google, last time we spoke, we were looking for a B wave. We're looking for it a little bit higher, and this is why it kind of gives a nice sort of, some folks have got this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down here for this, looking for a bigger correction to the upside. So we'll keep an eye on that as well, of course, but like I said, most of the stocks have pulled back up too far. So I've got to tie them all into each other. So here I'm looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So once again, the 1 is the strongest number, and it doesn't matter how you see 1. It could be 1 cent, 10 cents. It'll just, anywhere you see 1, it's going to be, and this is it's not so much the 100 here, it's the 10 that's the important thing. So we'll see, we'll see some sort of this finish off. I don't know how deep it will go, and then the wave 2 that will stay within group 1, and then this will be our short trade coming down here, the next short trade if you're not in. And this will be down here further. It'll be interesting to see how long the third wave is. Normally in stocks it's the longest, but we could have the extension in wave 1 and everything else is a bit smaller, or should we be looking for the length of, there's some sort of relationship between wave A and wave C in terms of corrective patterns, so that's possible. So that just takes us down to 106, so that's not such a big thing, is it? So we could look at 105 as the strongest number in that area. We'll just put 105 in here, and of course the 100. So anyway, we'll see how all that plays out, but yeah, all we can do at the end of the day is count the waves. That's all. That's staying in the present is pretty much the best way to get sort of targets, and you have to make decisions on the hop, as you do with most sports, isn't it? So Google, Microsoft, once again, there's a couple of things here. This has come down quite deep, so this leg here is the same as that leg, so A equaling C, but it probably and that will also be the 61.8% of this here. So that's going to be that there's, so we've got two things matching up at, to say, 260, but we'll probably end up coming down into 255 or something like that. You know, we'll see how that also plays out as well. But like I said, with all of these stocks, we're looking for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. But it is possible that we could put this B wave here over here for that. So I'll be aware of it, and we'll be working through it. So yeah, there's always a few counts that need to be addressed. Can't just stick our head in the sand. So that's that. And Berkshire Hathaway here. So with this one, we've got 5 waves coming to the upside. So that's a really good reason to have an A, B, and C wave here, and then go up again, isn't it? You know, I mean, that's just normal. Once again, but all we can do is track this wave 1 and 2. We could short waves, well, we could short all. I mean, it's always the same, isn't it? There's nothing to trade, and then suddenly everything is tradable. You know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So, but yeah, so we will look for the completion of wave 1, and like we looked up at wave B here, we'll be trying to figure out wave 2 as well. Okay, and that will take us down for wave 3 at that point. So yeah, we'll talk about that wave 2 rally and how we can approach it, and so on and so on. But that's sort of where we are there. And block, I've changed the count here. I haven't changed. I mean, I haven't changed the count. I've changed the labeling here. Just made it a bit cleaner. And I moved my A wave up here and a B wave here, to have my big wave A up here and my big wave B here, and then also to have, in line with the rest of the markets around the world, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 come down and finish it. So I think that's kind of sensible. Can it continue down through here? Yes, by all means it could. But let's just, once we get to this fifth wave of C of B, we'll just see if we get the turn and see how that progresses to the upside, you know. And once we've got our first impulse, we can buy the pullback at that point. We can also look to short wave 2 as well. So wave 2 will take us down into 65, the medium level at that point. And over to the banks. So these are on 10,000 ticks. So it's kind of like the daily chart a little bit. So I've relabeled these here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So is this big enough for an ABC pattern here, and putting this B wave over here and going down here? It just looks a bit small, doesn't it? You know, so this is, in some case, like Apple has moved all the way up here. You know, the banks have stayed fairly low. The banks were kind of the first ones that gave us the whole bearish top idea being in place up here. So they're probably leading to the downside. So we'll need to be a little bit careful. This move here is definitely in 3 waves. So some of these moves up here, like Berkshire Hathaway, have been in 5 waves. Some of these moves here are in 3 waves. So it just tells me that we need to make new lows below here. Other stocks are telling me that we need to move up here as well. So I think that this particular pathway here is quite comfortable for me, but we have to get the evidence for that, you know. But in the meantime, from wave A here, we're looking for an A and a B and 5 waves down. So we'll come down to 32 or 33 or 31 or something like that. We still need 5 little waves in that little area. So from 10,000 ticks, we're going to go to 10 ticks. So we'll go to 10 ticks because, you know, there's not that much trading going on. I mean, there's a fair bit of trade that goes on, don't get me wrong, but 10 ticks is, I mean, it's good working with 10 ticks. I can see all the detail, you know, that's a good thing. So with here, As you know, we counted 5 waves down and we were looking for a correction back up into the box here. We didn't quite get to the box. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Hopefully that you found a way in. I mean, obviously the thing here would be under this low here. We talked about the first impulse wave down. But anyway, we're looking for this to finish off. How far will it come down? Don't know. Shouldn't be too far from this old low. You normally get some sort of support there. And we'll look for the ABC pattern here for wave 2. Now the safe trade is to short under wave B to go down into wave 3 here. You can short the 50-60% retracement level as well here. Yeah, so just checking on a few things. I mean, it's a very nice 5-wave structure here, so it's difficult to make that a wave 4 here in that case, you know. This is why I've gone, you know, with this being an A wave and a B wave up here. So anyway, I think we're on the right track. So the next short trade will come from wave 2 here, and then going over to Morgan's, just looking at this on the bigger picture and trying to get 5 waves out of this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Bit of an overlap between these two here, so you could probably WXY this situation, but a kind of, yeah, I like to be a little bit philosophical about it. Once again, we've only got 3 waves off here, so we could come straight down from this point. So you know, it's not going to be like I mean, it could be fast, but well, anyway, we'll see. We'll just look for 5 waves coming into this space and then a move back up. It might not even go that high. It might just come back up to the wave A here again. But the good thing about this is the thing with wave A, when you're in a wave B like this, wave A can be 5 waves or 3 waves. But when we get to B to C here, this will be 5 waves. So we'll be able to count the 5 waves, and then in the 5th wave, we'll be able to count the 5 waves in the 5th wave, and then in that 5th wave, we'll be able to count the 5 waves. So we'll be able to get it quite close to the turn. Hopefully we get that move there. Let's just go to the 10 tick. This is where we've been working. See, in this case, it's hard to call that a wave 4, isn't it? Because that's gone like way up here. And plus we've got 5 waves down here. So I think I'm on the right track. I mean, I try to look at all the options, you know. Once again, we've got our 5 waves down here. There should be some sort of support coming into the old lows here. Obviously, it could drop further down here or something. But the thing that we want next is like I mentioned, that ABC for this, and then we'll go down again for that. So the length of wave B down to wave C could be pretty much the same length as this here, or it could be 61.8% of this. I think we may even have the extension in wave 1. You know, normally in this case here, we've got the extension in wave 3. And if we get the extension in wave 3, then wave 1 and wave 5 are kind of roughly the same. Don't do it point for point because you'll only get frustrated, but it's just to help you get the right look and feel for things, that's all. And yeah, so we could have the extension in wave 1 and wave 3 could be smaller. So it's just something that we'll need to watch out for. And old Goldilocks, so savage as it is. Yeah, so yeah, well, this is the B wave, and this is where we're coming back to, and we'll be looking for 5 waves down this gully here. So let's just go look at that. But just good to have a look at the big picture now and again, isn't it? You know, because this is where we're going, and going back up here and then going down here. This leg here will have some sort of relationship to this leg in terms of the you know, A equaling C in some way. So you know, I could see Goldman's at a good buy around the 200, but we won't just buy willy-nilly on this. We need to build a case up here in case there's something even bigger happening, you know, in the markets. And we'll see how the speed of this goes down here, you know. You know, what about if this is wave 2 up here, you know, and we come down faster at this point? Anyway, we'll get there. But anyway, let's just go to, just want to clean these up because we don't look at the bigger picture every day. And 10 ticks. So there we are at the top there, and we're looking for a B wave here. Didn't quite get to probably where we wanted it to, but in fact I'll just, don't need these now, put that there. We're looking for that wave 1 low and wave 2, and then 3, 4, 5 coming down further wherever that 50-60% is down there. So that's it. So I hope you found that helpful. Yeah, all good. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.